Hi. This is
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon. We made it back from a wonderful romantic weekend that my sweetie and I had. We used these 2 months of the summer to catch up on our romantic getaways that we don't do during the course of the year because we have boys that we watch.
Well, we don't watch. They're my children.
Well, we're going to have other.
They're my children.
We're going to have more kids this week. Maybe other kids and stuff.
We have children.
So
I have children.
that's why it's not because we have money. We don't have any money. We're just all because of Jesus. Mm-hmm. But it's important for our marriage to get away from each other. We get away from here. And we went to a red state, which made it really special.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was really wonderful.
You don't know how many people stopped him and complimented his Trump socks. It was very exciting.
So I didn't knock anybody's socks off, but no one's saying they didn't like my socks, but everybody liked my trunk. But on our way back today.
If they didn't say anything.
So that way, crack clay, building a fair-proof marriage God's way, how important it is in a marriage couple to meet each other's needs. We're going to talk about my third biggest need. It's really way up there. It's a huge one. But we're going to talk about that. Why I want my wife, just like she was before we were married, to be my best friend and do stuff I wanted to do and have situations we like to do together.
Recreational companionship.
And she still does that even after we're married. That's important because I want to marry my best friend. But coming home, we stopped in Bristol at the home of country music. It's where it all started. Here are some of the songs.
And we went to the museum of the birthplace of country music.
Here are some of the songs that we read coming back.
The blood on the reason.
Yeah. Are you washed in the blood?
Oh, you're going to sing for him. Okay.
Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb? I am.
You can sing. Go
What's
ahead.
that called? I am.
Decided.
No. I know my name is in heaven. The resurrection. Just these wonderful names. When they came to start country music, these great Christian songs that talked about Jesus and heaven, how to get to heaven, washed in the blood. Oh, it was awesome.
There was a bunch of displays about how the gospel music was there at the foundation of country music, and it was just so, it really actually brought tears to my eyes because we've gone so far as a country away from that. And especially, it's just been hard. It's been hard for us in particular as Christians to know how to respond. I was talking to him on the way home today it's been really a burden on my heart, what's going on in our country, our state, our city. And it's been really hard for us as Christians to know how to respond to things and still in truth and in grace.
Because we know what America was started on. We came here as a Judeo-Christian nation to start this country, founded by mostly Christian men, right, straight, and capitalism is right straight from the Bible.
And I saw one of the Carter family albums, awesome. A huge Carter family album, and it was Will the Circle Go On? Will the Circle Be Unbroken? And it had a picture of, I think it was Robert E. Lee, on the center of the cover, and then it had Confederate flags on one side and Union flags on the other to bring us together. And so it's so heartbreaking. To be reminded. I mean, it was emotional to be reminded of how things started and how things were in 1927. When they had the Bristol sessions, which was the first country music recordings there, and to see that gospel was such a part of it, and Christ was such a part of it, and their faith was so strong, and that they were bringing together the country and singing about unity, and to see what we're going through today, it's just so hard. So I really try hard to temper my feelings and to pray before I post. But if I say anything I shouldn't that doesn't reflect Jesus,
it's all about Jesus.
I am human.
I just want to say, honey, I just don't want. I've been saying, I'd said something heavy today, but I had a picture about 20 years ago with my boy, and how it's so important as a mom and dad to not let a momentary satisfaction rob can rob your family of Christian living. It's not worth it. Stop it. Don't do it. Meet your spouse's needs. Do it as you did when you were in courtship before you got married. If you work as hard after marriage as before marriage, man, you're going to have any problems. Because I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, our marriage is a reflection of Jesus. And people are looking at us. I like what Jonathan Falwell
Not just
said.
us. Everybody's marriage.
Everybody.
I like
what Jonathan Falwell said today. Jonathan Falwell said, gospel always works, but our actions make it ineffective. Our actions, what we do and what we say and how we live our Christian life. People are watching us. You want to make influence on your kids, on your children?
On the world. The world will not change until hearts are changed.
You can't live like the devil and invite people to church. They're not going to listen to you. Mm-hmm. They're not. They're going to laugh at you. We were out with yesterday. We're talking to people about Jesus. I just love how my wife, she's bold, and she talks to people about Jesus. We met strangers, and they were saying about, he had a bad experience in church, and her and she and my wife said, you told her.
I said, well, that is really unfortunate that you had a bad experience in church, because that did not represent Jesus very well, because because the people are not Jesus, and the church is made up of people who are all fallen and all sinners,
right?
And it's about Jesus. So I'm sorry that I'm sorry that your opinion of the Lord has been impacted by someone else's behavior.
Man will always let you down. Jesus never will. But we still, as born again, Bible-believing Christians, we have to be truthful, and we have to be honest, and we want them to see us in our lives and draw this close to Jesus. I want what that guy wants, Toby Mack would say. What does he have? I want what he or she has. So why, sweetheart, is it so important to meet each other's needs? Because this is an important need for Kim. And thank you for being that way to me in this marriage.
You're welcome. Recreational companionship. Why is it so hard to meet each other's needs? It's so hard, did you say?
Well, no.
Why is it so important?
Why is it so important? I'm sorry.
I could have not heard that part. Anyway.
It's my fault.
I could have been mine. So, anyway, as we've been talking about, as we've been going through the book, His Needs, Her Needs by William Harley Jr., that every relationship that you have, whether friendship, work relationship, spouse, you have a love bank with that person, and every interaction is either making deposits or taking withdrawals. Well, and we've been going through the 5 top needs for men and women. So this is Tim's third need. It was probably tied for second that we went over two weeks ago.
Or first.
No,
second.
No. It's not your first.
Okay. Okay, stay with the script.
Anyway, but for most men, because it ranked second. Second in importance, recreational companionship.
Are you complaining about that?
I'm not at all.
Okay.
No, I'm not complaining. It ranks second, recreational companionship. So when you're dating and you're so excited that he calls you and he asks you to go somewhere, and you're like, okay,
do a ball game.
I'll go, because you just want to spend time with him. And then he's thinking that you really like football because you go with him to every football game he invites you to, and he doesn't realize you really don't like it, that you're just going to spend time with him. So then what happens? He thinks you're perfect. Oh, you talk about cars, if his interest is cars, whatever his interest is. Especially today with the internet, you get to you can Google it, look it up, find all the fun facts about it, and then talk to him about it. So you're all up on it and have a conversation and just make yourself so appealing to him. And then you get married and you're like, yeah, go ahead. Go to that game with your friends.
And a hot fox.
Go to that game with your friends. Because I'm really not that interested.
She's put huge deposits in my love bank.
But what happened was when you were dating, you were making deposits in his love bank because you were doing all that stuff, and he never knew that you didn't like it. And then after you get married, you're like, hey, why don't you go to the games with your buddies, because I really don't like football. And by the way, can you take me to the opera next weekend? And he didn't even know you liked it. Well, that's a bait and switch.
Oh.
I think that's a bait and switch, and that is an actual example of a couple that is in the book. That's what happened to them that came for counseling, and I can see that. I mean, I know as a woman, I want to always be. We want to be interesting. We do want to just see them. We're excited. It's the way it is. And so
because we want to spend time together before we're married,
right.
So we had to pick out something we had to do to go to talk. But most women, what they would do is just hang around and talk, which is fine. But men would like to talk, but also maybe do something as we're.
But men place such importance on recreational companionship. It's so important. It's usually a criteria for him when choosing a wife. They assume that their bride will become a lifelong recreational companion and will be like his best friend. If she shows interest in his favorite activities, that makes so many love deposits. It seals the deal. So when a wife announces after marriage that she is not interested in his favorite activities, then it's a shock to him, and it eliminates most of the important ways. It eliminates one of the most important ways she can make deposits into his love bank. So what happens? So then men will start spending time recreationally with other men, and sometimes. Because sometimes once you get married, you're like, well, let me get his hair changed, and now I got him. I can work on changing the outfit a little, changing his wardrobe, and he goes with the wardrobe, the hair changes, and then when you want to change his hobbies, he's like, oh no, we can't do that.
That's the last thing I got.
Mm-mm. So he'll just start making plans with his guy friends, which is fine, except that you're losing the opportunity to make huge deposits into his love bank. And you know what happens is that you start to grow apart, because when you start living separate lives, like you start going to the opera with your girlfriends and he's going to the ball games with his guy friends, and you two, then when you throw some kids in the mix, you're really busy and you've got jobs, and when do you come together, right? Remember, 15 hours a week you're supposed to be having intimate conversation. So it makes it very difficult to come together. And then you know what happens. So another example is, and this does happen, that sometimes what happens if his interest is playing softball. And she liked it in the beginning, and she would, when they were dating, went to his games, and then after they were married, she's like, well, I've got other things I need to be doing. I'm not going to go to your games. Or maybe I'll go to book club on Wednesday night since you have softball on Wednesday night. Well, he's on a co-ed league, right? And so on the co-ed league is another pretty girl who loves softball because she's playing softball.
And they're sitting on the bench together.
Not because her boyfriend is playing, but because she likes it. Now, maybe she's there just to find a new husband. I don't know. But think about it, okay? So you've been drifted apart because you're not investing in that time together. You're not investing in one of the most important things to a man, which is spending time in his recreational pursuits and with your spouse. And so he is out playing softball, and there's this woman playing softball, and they're on the same team, and she's single. Yeah, he's married, but she's single, and they're sitting on the bench. They're sitting on the bench together, so they're talking. They're having a cup of coffee, or
let me say something about this real quick.
having some water, and then they start talking baseball facts or softball facts, and she loves baseball, and so she's then making deposits into your husband's love bank. And not you.
Don't do that.
So think about that. I mean, that doesn't mean it's automatically going to end bad, that he's going to stray. But why? Why would you create that situation in your marriage where you're drifted apart that gives someone else the opportunity to make those deposits? Because if you weren't drifting apart, if you were really pouring in and investing into your marriage, even if there's another single girl and you at the baseball game on his team, he's not going to be open to that. He wouldn't be vulnerable to it. Did you want to say something?
Well, yeah, and that's when I believe in us being transparent. I just talk a little bit about my sweetie and I. My sweetie and I, she likes communicating and talking, and there's so many needs we weren't being met. But when we first met, we were both acting. So we had to, when we were acting, studying, getting ready to do that for our church. Well, that means we had to study together. So that brought us together in so many ways, to study the lines. And then we found ourselves, we were studying lines and studying lines.
And in
doing,
public places.
And doing more, but then eventually doing more than study the lines by having conversation besides the lines. You see how it is? You see how the devil wants to, he don't want you to meet your need with your spouse. He's dying for you not to meet it.
So we thought we had all the guardrails in place, right?
We
were meeting at public places. And just meeting to rehearse for our ministry, to act and to learn the lines. But when you're meeting to do that, then and you have that in common, because so then that left. Then we started having conversation, and just your friends used to start having conversation. Totally never expected to end up where we did. Never saw it coming. I mean, you could have told me 6 months earlier I would have done something like that. I would have told you were crazy. So see how it happens, guys. You're so vulnerable. You can't when you're not getting your needs met in your marriage. You doesn't make it okay. A little bit of time. The devil, little bit of time. Oh, what's wrong with that? The devil will tell you. Oh, what's wrong with that? The devil tells you all the time. And then you do that. Oh, what's wrong with that? Yeah. The devil knows what's wrong with it. He fears God. He knows God's going to win in the end, and he's trying to take as many people as he can with him. Part of that is destroying Christians' testimony. So the unsaved will look at him and go, hypocrites. I don't want that. That's what the devil wants. Stop it. Go ahead, Ben. So it doesn't make it okay what we did, but because I never expected to do it. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how in the world
we're using what we did to help you, and not to do it.
We know how it happened. We know how it happened, and we don't want anybody else to go through this. So Hurley emphasizes, he says, I can't emphasize too strongly what a mistake it is, what a mistake it can be for spouses to have independent recreational activities. When they're spending most of their enjoyable moments in the company of someone else, just like I said, there's the distinct possibility of building a love bank account with that person. Not only do they risk losing their love for each other, but they risk falling in love with the other person if the other person is of the opposite sex.
And I might say, if you start off with a guy maybe playing something, after a while, I know men and women that then they start getting, well, she's not playing with me. I'll just find someone else who wants to play with me, because I'm having a lot of fun playing with Tom, this sport, whatever, tennis, theoretically. So I'll find some other girl. I'll find a girl to play with him. She don't want to enjoy it. See how the devil, what's wrong with that?
So if you want to have a fulfilling marriage, your favorite recreational companion must be your spouse.
Must be. It's gotta be.
Not a should be. Must be your spouse.
And we hear all the time, yes, women do that thing, and men do that thing. I understand that, but not first and foremost. You gotta have it with your spouse.
Mm-hmm. So what do you need to do? You need to find something you can both enjoy together. And on his website, he has the list you can print out from the back of the book. So if you look up the Willard Harley Jr., or His Needs, Her Needs, on his website, he has and he has a radio show called Marriage Builders, but there's a questionnaire at the back of the book that gives tons, like 125 recreational activities that you two can each rank how you like it. You can add your own to it, and then narrow it down to like 15 you try them. Try to do what your spouse wants to do. Find something that you are mutually agreeable. There's something that you're completely opposed to. Like, what is something I would never want to do?
Well, like play ball, play softball. I mean,
nobody would want me on a team.
But we found something. We found a common denominator that we can enjoy with each other. One is working out together. We work out together probably every day after we read the Bible first and pray and seek His face. Body, physicality profits a little, but it's good for a marriage couple. We enjoy that together. We walk together. We play tennis together. This weekend, we went to some shows. She likes going to drama shows.
It was dinner theaters.
I'm not crazy
They were
about
a little
it.
fluff.
I do
yeah.
because I love her. I love her.
Fluff, but it was fun.
I love her.
And I loved it. I was so excited. And for our second anniversary, what did we do?
She took me to the Indians game to watch the Cleveland and watch the Indians play.
And let me just tell you, football and basketball are my two favorite sports to watch. Nobody wants me playing any sport. Baseball is my third, but it's my husband's number one favorite sport. So I knew that, and so I looked, and there was an Indians home game, and he loves Cleveland.
Love Bank.
Still
my love bank.
So we went for our second anniversary to a Cleveland Indians game.
Absolutely.
Because that's what he loves. And he is so good to me and always plans things for me and does surprises for me. So I wanted to put some deposits in his love bank because he's always making them putting them in mine, And anyway, so now, ladies, so both of you are accountable to try to find some mutually agreeable recreational activities. And he recommends, and then when you're starting something new, like give it some time, right? Don't just do it the first time. Like, I'm horrible at tennis, but I've always wanted to play tennis, and I think we talked about this.
About last week.
Yeah, about what a huge deposit he made in my love bank because he came and saw that I had tennis rackets.
So find something you like to do together.
Wait. He came and saw that I had tennis rackets and a tennis skirt, and nobody would ever, he asked me why, and nobody would ever play with me. So the next time he said, let's go
nobody
play
had the patience to play.
So anyway, so he takes me to play tennis, and we did that a couple weeks ago on our trip to Smithmount Lake, and it's awesome. It's heartwarming for me. But he didn't quit the first time we played because I was horrible at it and he was miserable. I didn't quit because I was horrible about it. And I was embarrassed even though we first played when we were dating. And
give it a chance.
Yeah, so just give it a chance. Keep working at it. Give her some time, give him some time. So he suggests that for 30 days, gentlemen, that you only engage in recreational activities that your wife can be a part of. So if she wants to go hunting and fishing with you, then that's fine. But she has to actually like it. So it can't be something that she's just engaging in with you, but she really hates, because then you're taking withdrawals from her love bank, right? It has to be recreational activities that are mutually enjoyable and agreeable. So
we both like to shop.
We love to shop.
I said that. We both like to shop. But only she spends. Go figure that out. What's up with that?
No.
Anyway.
So.
And we both love Liberty sports. She'll go to a Liberty baseball game. Loves Liberty football. Oh,
and basketball.
She is passionate. She probably likes it just as much or more than me. She loves it. And basketball. Man, we have that in common big time, don't we, sweetheart?
We do. I love it.
We're finding common denominators that bring us together, where we want to share life together. Because I don't want to share something awesome, a home run, with a bunch of other people. I want my wife to be there when I hit that home run. Same thing. And
you're creating memories. You're building memories, right?
Yeah,
you're building memories which bring you closer together, too, and things you can reflect back on that are good about your marriage or your time together. So another important reason is that they stand up over time. What you and your spouse both enjoy together, you're likely to do it again. And they say, and we talked about how it makes huge love bank deposits. So I'm just seeing if I left anything out. Your rewards. Okay, so this is interesting for me.
Yeah.
This was interesting for me because even though we've read this before, this really hit me today when we were rereading it. I mean, we've read this many times. This is I don't know how many times through this book. Okay, so when your husband, if he commits to doing the 30 days without doing any recreational activity that the wife cannot be involved in, because recreation is so important to men as an outlet for their stress and their work all week, that he could withdraw and actually go into a state of depression because it's so important. He says men need recreation in their life to keep going. They use leisure time activities as a way to recharge themselves. And
I not want to sit down.
So, no. So she may actually start to feel guilty and see that he's withdrawing and decide that she may want to let him off the hook. But if you stay the course for the 30 days, it's going to be worth the effort, and you find something that's mutually enjoyable. But it really just struck me that it's that important to them that it could cause a state of depression when they give up their leisure time. Because what have we been doing for the last 16 weeks? Safe at home. So men, I've heard about all these divorces being filed since COVID, safe at homes, and all these, and I thought about it, just hit me, and I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, men who got made to be providers and protectors, many of them have not been able to go to work. Some have been able to work from home. We did work every day, but then there's that. And the second thing is, if his recreational activities were outside of the home, they were canceled. He wasn't able to do it. Even in the home, if they were watching sports on TV, they were all canceled. So men, unless they're active, what's something men could be doing inside that would be, I don't even know, playing video games, which I don't think is a men. I think that is
Ping
boys.
pong. We got ping pong table.
I mean,
foosball table.
There's not a lot
Pickleball.
left that they could do. Pickleball you can't do at home.
As well.
Yeah. Anyway.
But,
so that's huge. That's huge.
Right.
And I think about all the divorces that I've heard that have been filed since people have had to stay home together for 16 weeks. And I just wanted to bring that up.
Probably three of the last holdouts before I gave my life to Jesus and said, yes, Jesus, come into my heart. My gods were the Browns, the Cavs, the Indians. Mm-hmm. Boy, look how Jesus has taken that all away, because Dad always told me back then, sports will let you down, but Jesus never will. Sports are really letting me down now. Mm-hmm. So it's just turning my focus even more to what's really important. And that's Jesus, and putting him first in your life. Putting him first in everything you do. The marriage is about God first, us second, and then the kids and the job. But it's got to have such same priorities. Let me say again here. Don't trade a momentary satisfaction that will rob your family of a Christian living. It's not worth it. Stop it. Do it God's way, not man's way. What a contrast now between man's way and God's way. Do it God's way. My home is not here. My home is in heaven. And that's what I want your home to be too. Okay.
So remember, the couple that plays together stays together.
Prays and plays. The couple that plays together and prays together. Mm-hmm. Every morning we read a devotional, then we pray, and then we read the Bible every morning together. And then we do it. Then we work out together. Every morning we do that.
And then many times in the evenings we walk together. So after work, yeah.
Find something you like together and do it. Learn it. If you don't know much about each other, open up. Be honest.
And remember the 15 hours a week of undivided
15 hours
attention.
A week. Absolutely.
Some of those recreational activity can be part of that 15 hours. It doesn't mean you have to just be sitting face to face.
As long as you're hugging her and touching her and kissing her and smooching her.
When you're watching TV, a movie, if all your attention's on the movie, then you're not, that doesn't count. Right. But if you're...
Not shoulder to shoulder, but look at each other.
Yeah.
She wants to look at me and me to listen. Mm-hmm. So then you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, right?
Right. So if you can combine the top 2 needs for everyone, right, which is women, which is intimate conversation and affection, and for men, usually sexual fulfillment, recreational companionship, you've got a hit. Right.
So next week, we're going to find out her next biggest one, and that is...
We'll see.
Tell you next week. We love you guys.
We love you guys.
Jesus loves you so much.
That's
Have a
right,
great week.
Elizabeth. Thank you.
We love you guys.
Okay, bye.
Jesus.
I hope everybody had a great 4th of July.
Happy July 4th.
Happy birthday, America. Right? 244 years of our wonderful country, and we are proud to be Americans.
We call some fireworks. Okay, we love you guys.
We got it. Bye.